So dear friends, today's story is not easy to share. Well, it will be for me very easy to share, but it will not be easy to swallow, because it affects pretty much every single aspect of your lives, of your creative endeavors, of your financial endeavors, of your, let's say, computer and technology endeavors. In short, you have been spied on. You still are, but it just depends, how do you feel? Do you have anything to hide? Why are you so upset if somebody is spying on you? Why upset if somebody is gossiping about you? What you're doing, what you're not doing, who you're sleeping with, why you're not sleeping with anybody, and so on. The complete concept of our, let's say, modern contemporary existence was driven by, let's say, a flow of informations, or knowledge of another people's ways of living, doing things, not doing things. So we have absolutely humongous platforms that exist on this planet and beyond. Or we'll kind of stick just for this little show on the planet in itself. The companies, they are producing technological miracles, they are producing telephony miracles, and there are companies or corporations or organizations who are producing nothing but the mind control, based only on the aspect of how they can mine the data from you and find ways to enslave you even more. So, title: CIA's worst spy of all the times. I am John the Reaper. I am John that sold my soul for a fee. John McAfee. Started, let's say, from nowhere, in a little obscure, usually they call it a garage, that he developed a first Windows-based something. Oh, sorry, this is another spy, which is, they call him Bill the Hell Gates, but now this one started his business probably in the bar, where all the CIA operatives are contemplating how they can really control the flow of information in this new media outcome, that it's really coming very fast. TV gets developed, color TV, radio, almost fiber optics going spread, from town to town, from another box to another box. Speed of transfer of information become humongous. Yet they were thinking how they can actually capture all of it and, well, capture our interest for this technology that will actually ruin our life. So they come up with a very, very slick solution, let's say, at that time, not really contemplating what's going to happen when we, as a, let's say, sane humans, start seeing with our own eyes. So they pick among a variety of different characters, mostly like a male hybrids, meaning hybrids are not humans, it's like bred for this purpose only. And in early 70s, they come up with a solution that information technology, many of you know, like IT, or I call it or shit, that absolutely start manipulating every aspect of our living and directing it right into their freaking claws. So, in 24 years, since 1987, all the way to 2011, when this McAfee of, let's say, $250 million US worth something, like security firm that is securing their own way of living and nothing about us, you know, stupid humans who didn't want to see. So this flow of, let's say, control gets so tightened and so obscure that we could not even see what they were doing in our face. I'm guilty of it, and I can really guess that how many of you have been, you know, working through the Windows until you maybe switch to the Apple. But again, whenever you are, Windows was there. Whenever you were, McAfee was spying on you, pretending that he's doing a huge service to humanity by protecting you from the viruses that actually they initially created. So, go back to the company of McAfee has been, let's say, swallowed by another entity called Intel, Intel. So the company that so-called produce chips or microchips, and besides many others, hardware, let's say. But they were so keen to have a good security, so no other industrial espionage would be like, you know, too obvious that they are protecting themselves from the Chinese or Russians or whoever, you know, South Africans, or maybe from Antarctica, Antarctarians. Okay, these guys. They were spying a lot on Intel because they wanted these best chips for their own new, you know, spying, flying, invisible, so-called spaceships, okay? Anyway, go back to stupid McAfee. I mean, sorry McAfee, because honestly, the way how I see you now, you're absolutely a retard. You are a worse CIA spy that I could ever see. So freaking arrogant, without any humility within, and just going from cheating on people, stealing information, selling informations, creating a big companies, selling them, underselling them, and so on. For the sake of really what? What was your ultimate goal? Well, another layer of the company above the Intel that who's supposed to buy, the McAfee Corporation, was so-called handler corporation called TPG Capital. It's the largest private equity investment firm. Annual turnaround of the assets they turn around, can you guess? 60 to 70 billion US dollars. And they're very specialized in leveraged buyouts. I mean, can you guess what does it mean? Meaning, we'll make you suffer and then we'll buy you out for cheap. Known technique of the dark alien creatures. Because for them, it was just a way to create as much suffering as possible. They kind of produce some technology, they charge a lot for this technology, and information where this technology came from is very obscure. Nobody want to share. Nobody want to tell why and how. They're just still using the combustion motors to propel the car from A to B. And we have myriads of different, really free and clean energies. Yet, why are they using them and not disclosing to any of us? So, a young McAfee creature, CIA, the worst spy of all, decided he will take a job. He will pose as a poser, as so-called programmer, which I don't think he ever wrote a single line of code ever. Ever. He was remote-driven, let's say, hybrid robot, or, yeah, hybrid, that supposed to be like this. Be very full of himself. Be very, I'm the savior kind of type, that he will save the world from the viruses that he create them, and the background dealings that he do with all of our informations that he was siphoning through the Windows back door, actually using hardware parts that it's embedded into the microchips. So anyway, besides the matter, this creature was planned or bred for this job. I mean, I call him simply John, the sold my soul for a fee, dude. Because nothing else is there. There is no spirit in this creature. He supposedly suddenly the virus shows up. It's called Pakistani brain crusher or something, okay? Created by the CIA internal, programming complex that doing things very methodically, very much on purpose. CIA doesn't do anything by mistake, even doesn't put the people in the certain locations or jobs without having a full, almost like a testing mode that they can always replace if something goes bad. So he was behaving quite well first, let's say after 2011, first maybe 24 months or so. And you could see basically on his physical appearances. And then suddenly the cloning factory closed its door. Not really that they wanted, but we closed it. So they could not clone him anymore. The old, bad programming start perpetuating, and the paranoia starts really kicking full blown. So he had no choice but to go completely rogue. He went rogue on all the companies, so-called lost all his money, put it in about 100 trusts all over the little islands. Yet, in no avail, these are the actions of the clone CIA creature who doesn't really think. It just reacts. It reacts on everything. Equip himself with the guns, with the bodyguards, with security systems, but nothing would actually save him from his own stupidity. So now recently, we are in 2019, he suddenly disappeared, claiming some dead man switch, some data to be exposed, and IRS is like a tax corporation from Puerto Rico that's representing United States people or citizens. Is chasing him, anyway, his words, and they want to kill him. So imagine the company or the government, so-called company, wants to take money from you, but before that they want to kill you. So this is his explanation why he's running, and he's equipped on the boat with the high-tech, whatever, equipment and all the gadgets, a couple of dogs and the rest of the crap that it comes with this white powder overdose. One cannot sustain this kind of living too long, because when he realized that he's not real, that he's a clone, he's doing everything and anything to present the world how noble he is. Suddenly he becomes a donator of massive amounts of funds for the small corporations. He will do the blabbing on the TV for a small fee of like 25 million, and they will raise the stocks of the corporations because he give them a good IPO. At that time was an IPO trend, to come up with like a stupid idea and just like post a fake public offering on these fake stock exchanges, and he makes his cut of every of these. So it didn't last for long, because the people just like, you know, totally ignore, first of all, his ideas, and second of all, he's carrying such a big karma on his back, because infesting the old world with thousands of man-made, CIA-made viruses, programmed viruses, that caused havoc on people's, let's say, equipment, data, but the worst, they created so much anxiety in people. I'm absolutely guilty of this, or I was now 10, 15 years ago, when I smashed my computer in pieces because the virus completely locked me down. And then recent attempts of these creatures, they were suddenly realizing in the last 5-6 years that Bitcoin is a next new thing. They kind of missed it. So they want to find a ways to steal some more. I mean, they're stealing here and there from your computers, from your wallets. They giving you like a free installation on the wallets, but they actually own completely all the wallets. So Coinbase is one of theirs, but you can check some of my previous couple of years old videos, if they are still available. But anyway, besides all of this, let's say, gossiping that I'm doing right now, I feel very, very comfortable, because I know that CIA has shut its door, meaning it has no frigging control on any of the clones running around. There's no more mind control. There's no more ability for CIA operatives to do the psychic attacks on individuals like Trump, like Assange, like many of us. Simply because creation put its foot down, and absolutely it's turning against them. Every time they start thinking or planning some devious plan, this plan turns and it bites them straight in the face and bites off their complete skull. So very, let's say, allegorically speaking, they are headless creatures. They are soulless creatures who has no purpose anymore. They had a purpose before. They're stealing, they're doing this, they're following the program that was making them do something, and they've been paid, let's say, handsomely. But then what? When we can basically rewrite every of these viruses and make them pretty much chase their own tail around and around and around until they completely spin out of their energy. They are stealing from real people by causing them tremendous harm, tremendous anxiety, and many people really get sick. Many people get suicidal because they could not sustain. All these manipulations on the stock markets are caused by these kind of viruses or programs, they are going backdoor and they're manipulating the stock markets, they're manipulating the data streams, they're manipulating, I mean, I can talk this for a year and it will not be enough to disclose everything. So, if you just, in short, put this, first CIA created the virus. Then they found a creature who's going to act as, let's say, a developer, a designer of a protective mechanism. So first, they attack us. And then they attack us with the virus, which is called a doomsday virus or a Pakistani brain virus. Okay? So, stupid McAfee found so-called a solution. And based on this solution, he decided that the company suddenly becomes like, 100 million right away, almost like in 3 years, becomes fully pledged on the stock markets. Is like, public offering was done in an instant. Then what he do? He says, I'll give you for free my software. With every new computer, whatever, every new installation of the Windows, you get McAfee for free. But free with what cost? How much this would cost you? Every 30 minutes they were pounding on people's heads. The Windows shows up, buy the premium version, blah blah. McAfee will save you, have a full list of all the viruses. And if you're not too, let's say, good follower, they'll send you a couple of real, nasty creatures, viruses, worms, Trojans, and so on. And they will just mess up your life until you say, I have to this. McAfee, it's my salvation, which was absolute crap. We've been, honestly, driven and ridden over the water thirsty until we realize that we don't have to. Until we realize that this creature now is not a millionaire anymore and he's not running around anymore. Reason why? Because all his so-called millions are, you call it compounded, not in his possession anymore, not has access to them, frozen, put under the security blanket of the light until the real deal comes on the surface. And why he's not running around anymore? Because he's sitting in Guantanamo Bay with a couple of his old comrades and some new, let's say, very fresh enemies they've created among themselves. And you recognize them down the road. Some of these SEAL indictments, they are freaking out when they're going to come out. He's one of them. Well, he has multiple ones, but besides the murder, besides the he did actually a genocide on the human race through usage of this high technology, by stealing, by infusing fears, by really warmongering, by selling our soul to the higher bidder until we said enough. So, if you want to see him, go visit him in Guantanamo Bay. Ask until he's, I think it's already in the process, a hearing for his prosecution. But you will be informed because he was really posing as the worst kind of public, arrogant, dark CIA shill that pull us for our nose for 25 years now, 35 years, last 10 years, when he was trying to scheme some bitcoins and present himself as a master guru of know-it-all. yet he's just an old, crooked, crippled man that has to eat his penis when the Bitcoin reach some amounts. So we'll watch it on the TV. So be it.